My sister wants to meet you. She saw your pictures and something happened in her that I recognize because the same thing happened in me when I first saw you, when you first became visible to me, when the image of you entered my awareness and something shifted, something rearranged itself to make room for what it was, seeing for the specific quality of you that comes through, even in photographs, even through the imperfect medium of a captured moment that is only one frame of a moving, living, breathing person, but that somehow contains enough of you to communicate something essential, enough of you to make someone stop and look more carefully, stop and want to know more, stop and feel the pull of curiosity that is not just ordinary curiosity, but the specific kind that means something, the kind that is actually the beginning of something, even when you do not know yet what that something is. My sister saw your pictures and she came to me, and the way she came to me, the specific quality of her coming, the expression on her face, the particular light in her eyes that I have known since we were children, that I can read like a language that belongs only to us, to our specific history, our specific way of knowing each other, that no one else has access to in quite the same way. The expression told me everything, told me that she had seen something that moved her, that registered as significant, that produced in her the specific feeling of wanting to know more, wanting to be in the presence of whatever she had sensed in the images, wanting to understand if the real person lives up to what the pictures suggested, if the photographs told the truth about you, or only part of the truth, or a flattering version of the truth that the actual presence would either confirm or gently complicate. She came to me and she said your name, and the way she said it, the specific way she held it in her mouth, like something new and interesting, like a word She was learning the pronunciation of and finding that the sound of it pleased her, that the sound of it felt right. Somehow the way certain words feel right, the way certain names have a quality that the person they belong to seems to have earned, seems to deserve, seems to have grown into in the specific way that people grow into their names over time. I want to tell you about my sister before tell you what her wanting to meet you means, because you cannot understand the significance of it without understanding her, without knowing something about who she is, what her approval means, what her wanting means, because my sister is not someone whose wanting is casual, whose interest is easily produced, whose curiosity about people is something she extends freely to everyone who crosses her path. She is particular. She has always been particular, has always had a specific, precise quality of attention that she gives only where something has genuinely earned it, only where something real has registered, only where whatever internal mechanism she uses to assess people and situations and possibilities has said, yes, this is worth my attention, worth my genuine engagement, worth the specific quality of interest that when she gives it, she gives fully, and when she withholds it, she withholds completely, with no half measures, with no performed interest masking actual indifference. She is honest in that way, always has been since childhood, since before she had words for the thing she was doing, which was simply being true to what she actually felt rather than what the social situation seemed to require. She could not perform interest. She did not feel, could not produce warmth. She was not experiencing, could not pretend the curious expression. When the curiosity was absent, it was not a choice. It was just how she was built, how she arrived in the world, and has remained through all the years, all the changes, all the ways life shapes a person over time. She remained essentially this, essentially particular, essentially someone whose attention, when you have it, you know, you have genuinely earned, because she cannot give it falsely, cannot offer it where it does not actually exist. So when she came to me with your name in her mouth and that specific light in her eyes, I understood immediately that something real had happened, that whatever quality of you came through those photographs had reached her, had actually reached her, had passed through whatever filter she applies to everything that passes through her awareness and emerged on the other side as something worth paying attention to, something worth pursuing, something worth the specific investment of genuine interest that she does not offer lightly, does not offer without something having actually earned it. I want to tell you what it means that she wants to meet you, because in the specific context of our family, in the specific architecture of what we are to each other, how we work, how we make decisions, how we understand the people who enter our lives, and what their entry means for all of us, not just the one person they are most directly connected to, but for the whole, the collective, the circle. My sister's approval means something real, means something that cannot simply be described as sibling approval, as family endorsement, as the ordinary phenomenon of someone's family wanting to meet the person they love. It means something more specific than that, more particular, more weighted by who she specifically is and what her particular quality of seeing means. When she turns it towards something and says, yes, I want more of this, I want to actually be in the presence of this, I want to know if what I sensed from a distance is confirmed up, closes even more in person than it was in photographs. I want to see if the real thing is as interesting, as interesting as the suggestion of the real thing that the photographs provided. She wants to meet you, and I want you to understand what that means coming from her, what it communicates about what she sensed, about what registered about what earned her particular honest, unfakeable attention. I want to tell you about us, about my sister and me, about what we are to each other, because that context also matters. Because you cannot understand what her wanting to meet you means for me without understanding what she means to me, what our relationship is, what it has been through all the years, all the versions of ourselves we have been as we grew up alongside each other, as we became who we are in the specific way siblings become who they are, which is partly together, partly in response to each other, partly in the dynamic that develops between two specific people who did not choose each other the way you choose friends or partners, but who were simply given to each other by whatever combination of biology and circumstance produced them in the same family, in the same household, growing up in the same particular world that their parents created around them, and finding that despite not having chosen each other, there is something real, something genuine, something that deepens over time rather than diminishing, something that becomes more, not less, as you grow older, as you understand better what you have in each other, what it means to have someone who has known you from the beginning, who has been present for all the versions you have been before arriving at the version you currently are, someone who carries the full history of you in a way that almost no one else does or can. My sister carries that for me, and I carry it for her. And when she wants to meet someone I love, when she wants to bring that specific quality of her, knowing her, years of understanding me, to bear on the person I have brought into my life, into our circle, into the space where the people I love most exist. It matters. It is not casual. It is not ordinary. It is her bringing everything she knows about me, everything she understands about what I need, what I deserve, what would be good for me, what would be worthy of me in the specific way that only someone who has known you your whole life can understand worthiness, can assess it from the inside, from the perspective of genuine knowledge, genuine history, genuine love that wants the best and knows enough to have a real opinion about what the best actually looks like. I want to talk about what I felt when she told me, because my feeling when she told me is part of the story, is part of what I want you to know, part of what this moment means to me personally, not just as information about my sister's reaction, but as something that happened inside me, that changed something, that confirmed something, that made something that was already real feel more real, more witnessed, more held by more than just my own interior. When she came to me with your name and that light in her eyes, I felt something that I want to try to describe honestly, even though the describing is difficult, because what I felt was layered, was multiple things at once. The way significant feelings always are never the single clean emotion. That simple descriptions of feelings suggest, but always the complicated, layered thing that actual human emotional experience produces. I felt pride first, the specific pride of someone whose most important person has just been recognized by another most important person, the pride of having what you have confirmed by someone whose confirmation means something real, whose eye you trust, whose perception is not casual, not easily given, not something she produces without the thing having genuinely earned it. I felt that she saw what I see, that what I experience when I am with you, what I sense in you, what has earned my specific particular love, is not invisible to others, is not something only I can access, is not the private delusion of someone too close to see CL